This week on Chicago Beer Pass, Nick and I talk about our on-the-road episode, eating caviar, and drinking beer from Noon Whistle. All that and more on this week's episode.
Yeah, because, you get a cork popped out, boop, it just flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it. The legend, Mr. Pete Crowley. I love Pete Crowley, man.
How's that beer? It's what you think it is.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. My name is Brad Chmielewski.
Hey, Brad, I'm Nik White.
And we're back in the studio, not on the road, but back here recording. Better sound quality.
It feels good to be back, man. Although the pub crawl was really fun.
Yeah, it was good.
I had a good time.
And it didn't take away from our other episode either. It was just a bonus for everyone.
Yeah, which is like the first time we've done that, you know? Yeah.
We got to make up for those vacation days we've taken.
Some more than others.
So if you're new to the show or even missed the special episode, what we do on the show is we drink beer, we talk about our past week of drinking, and then we get into the events that are coming up this week in Chicago. This is all Chicago focused and the suburbs. So if you're listening in Idaho, it might not be for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Unless you're in town, then we got you covered on what to do. So much stuff to do in and around the city, so it's good to have a nice little drumbeat of events every week.
Mm-hmm. So I think really, we've always talked about the beer first. I'm like so excited to talk about the places I went to. One of them is related to what we're drinking today. We're drinking the Noon Whistle Kind House IPA.
Oh, is that what it is? It's an IPA. All right,
Yeah.
good. I was wondering what it was. I was thinking farmhouse. I was like, man, this is a hoppy-ass
Farmhouse
ale, man. Yeah, this is 4.9%. This beer smells great, man. This is why I like fresh local beer,
Yeah, so if you're watching the video version, you see we have a 32-ounce crowler going. I was out there on Sunday, and I was like, why don't I just pick up a crowler for the show? This makes sense. They're out in Lombard, so not too far from the city.
Yeah, just west of downtown. So you go Oak Park, and then it's just like right past Oak Park or something, right?
They're right next to the Whirly Ball out there.
Oh, there's a Whirly Ball out there.
Yeah, the original Whirly Ball before the Chicago one.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I picked up this crowler. We had a sample. Went with my family, so we had samples of like a lot of the beer there.
So you went to Noon Whistle, been open since 2014.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Noon Whistle? What's going on out there?
I liked this fairly small place. The wide open. You have to like walk through the brewery to go to the bathroom and everything.
Really?
Like it's back in the back. There's a bunch of tables. Looks like you can bring food in. People had like Subway and KFC. And,
Okay. So they're not taken away from like the current establishments for food around there.
No, not at all. And it's like recessed in the back of a parking lot. Like if you were thinking of like a Jewel or something where you have the big parking lot in the front, and then that's kind of what it is.
Okay.
The same idea. It's like back there next to Whirly Ball and Noon Whistle and something else. They have a lot of beers on tap. I don't even remember how many, but it was quite a few. It's a good sized place, but nothing like crazy or anything.
Yeah. I've heard the name, but I've never like had any of their stuff or like I even knew where they were.
Okay.
So,
So I'd recommend checking them out if you're out that way or if you're heading back into the city down Roosevelt, because it's right off of Roosevelt.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, like I said, easy to get to off the expressway.
This is one of the ones you had when you were there. That's what made you get it.
Yeah, and it was tasty.
Yeah.
Then it was nice and light, so it's not gonna knock on our ass here.
It's important.
Yeah. It's always dangerous as a crowler too, because it's in a can, so you feel like I should just be able to drink this, no problem.
It's in the Foster's Australian for beer can. It's in that size can. It's funny. It's funny to see crowlers in real life.
Yeah, so that's what we're drinking, and one of the stops I made it to this past week. But even before that, I want to chat about our little pub crawl
Yeah, we had a mini version of the show, our weekly show. We did it on the road. We hit, a little bit different than normal. We hit three spots in a neighborhood we typically don't travel to.
Right.
Yeah, that's really not known for really good beer bars, honestly, right?
Not really. So we went to Side Door, Jake Melnick's, and then Clark Steele House.
Yeah, Clark Street Ale House. And they happen to have the main event there, which was an Allagash event with lobster. That was pretty good. We started a sidecar. Side door.
We didn't even have a sidecar.
We didn't even have a sidecar at Side Door.
Side Door was a pretty awesome place to start. It wasn't too busy when we first got there. It definitely filled up as we kept drinking and eating beef tenderloin, nachos, and yeah.
And then, the winding stairs to get to the bathroom at Side Door.
Side Door
is actually, it's part of you're reminded that you're in like a really classic space when you go up the stairs to get to the bathroom. Yeah.
And they have some great beer events coming up, and we chatted with them about like what's going to happen and what are the collaborations or even beer dinners that Jeff wants to do coming up.
Yeah, he's a very ambitious guy, and then he's really got his eye on, sought after beers. He's really into sour ales, really into like farmhouse ales, and really into just getting beers that, you don't typically see A, on draft, or B, as part of a beer dinner.
No, for sure.
Yeah, he's like pushing people to bring like some really dangerous stuff when he calls these breweries up. So he's very excited. He's got a lot of energy around his stuff.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And it was really cool to catch up with him. We did an episode there, and then we haven't seen him since for at least 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
And we didn't bring the show there. It's been a year since we brought the show there, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm. The guy sitting next to us at the bar, he got convinced to order a bomber of 3 Floyd's beer because he was out of town. He's from Seattle.
Yeah.
I almost never order a bomber if I'm at a bar.
No.
Especially if I'm solo. No way.
Right. Yeah. But, the consummate sales pro that this guy is, he sold him a bomber of like Arctic Panzer Wolf or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he was sitting next to us. So he got some tastes of other things that we were trying to. And so, very, very friendly. And, he wasn't a big fan of sour beers, the guy next to us. So they let him try some of that stuff. And
yeah. I think you have to work. I wouldn't say work your way up to it, but.
Sour beers?
Yeah.
Okay.
But some people, that is the path for some people. Most people start, hey, hardcore stout lover or a hardcore IPA lover, and then those lanes cross, and then they love the other one, right? That's most people. And then after a while, you get into sours.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are some people that start into wine, and then they just immediately like sours.
Yeah, because IPAs are too bitter and too harsh.
This tastes like a citronella candle.
Yeah.
Why is it so hoppy? Yeah. Yeah, you get that a lot. I don't know whose voice that was,
but someone who doesn't like IPAs, that's what it was. So we left there kind of feeling pretty good and full.
The tone was set properly at Side Door.
So then we went to Jake Melnick's, and that place was packed.
Man, it was rocking. I didn't understand. Like, why is it so busy?
And we weren't eating. We didn't even, we were told to get the poncho wings, so we didn't even get any of those. So we went and had one beer and kind of left fairly quickly there.
Yeah, we tried to get the vibe of the place, but and maybe talk to somebody, but then we just decided to roll after one. We were one and done there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then our final stop was Clark Street Ale House. We talked about the main event on last week's episode.
Yeah.
And I was thinking I might stop by there depending on how our night went anyway, just to grab food. I didn't plan on eating at Side Door when our adventure started. So. But you knew some people there at Clark Street Ale House.
Yeah, shout out to Mel, Melissa from Windy City. I was gonna say Windy City Brewing. No, Windy City Distribution.
Yeah.
She's a friend from a long time, and then she got a chance to say, hey, this is in her territory where she sells beer, and how excited she was to even though this place, Clark Street Ale House, changed ownership, the new ownership, I think, was really on board with having events that showcase, their tradition for craft beer in the city. Yeah. Yeah. And then the marketing folks were there, Jen from marketing department for Clark Street Ale House, because they own a few other spots, which are kind of more along the lines of like
nightclub.
Yeah, like nightclub spots.
Yeah.
So it was cool just to, hear about the transition from the guy who owned it to the folks they sold it to, and then, just be a part of this event. that spotlights Allagash, which is a brewery that we are kind of lucky to have in Chicago.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago, LA, and then the East Coast. And that's it. That's the only place you'll see Allagash. So.
Yeah, I was drinking a wheat beer the other day, and I think I was talking to someone. I'm like, oh, well, it's kind of like Allagash. I'm thinking like, oh, yeah, you don't have Allagash. You can't get it. Sorry.
You are speaking another language at that point. Yeah, it's weird. We take it for granted. But, yeah, if you see Allagash, you don't see that in Michigan or fucking Wisconsin or, you see that here. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, yeah, if you didn't listen to that On the Road episode, our first one, go back and listen to it. It's 15 minutes, so it's not that long.
In and out, it's a quick hit. I think it's a good listen.
Yeah.
And then we're actually chatting with folks that we saw at these places, like the last stop, the ladies who put on the event. The first stop, there's the guy who buys a beer at Side Door. So it's a good episode.
Yeah, and if you liked them, we will try to do them again. Even if you didn't like them, we may try to do them again because it gets us to a few different places.
Yeah.
Kind of kicking around the idea of maybe a beer miscuous stop.
Yeah, we're staring at Lincoln Park, man.
Yeah.
A lot of fun stuff over there. Patty Lawns is right there.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about Patty Lawns.
Forgot about them, yeah.
Yeah, they're right there.
Okay. Other than that, those 3 stops at Noon Whistle, nothing for me else.
Yeah.
Anything for you?
Nothing beer related. I did go to a vodka event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fancy.
It was Pinkies Up. Kettle One vodka is 325 years old.
Whoa. Okay.
I had no clue. They're in their 12th generation of family ownership. They said that, hey, they're the as far as like completely owned by a family, that's the like the 13th longest in the world,
Yeah.
for like corporations. So yeah, I talked to the marketing guys there, and they had caviar and oysters over lunch. They actually have a gin, which I didn't know about.
Kettle One gin?
Kettle One has a gin under the Nolet brand. So it's the Nolet family that created Kettle One, and they own the distillery.
Okay.
Right. These folks are from Holland, right? And he was saying, yeah, they wanted to create a gin, expand their portfolio, and they made a deal. What he told me was they made a deal with Diageo, and it sounded like even though they thought they had a superior product, there were some parts of the world where they couldn't get the vodka because of distribution.
Okay.
And it's funny because it sounded just like Lagunitas. We were talking about Lagunitas last week, how they partnered with Heineken more so
Just to get their beer in the
just
market.
to get their beer in certain markets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was actually pretty interesting to see the parallels there. And gin makes for a great layer in a beer cocktail. So that's why I brought up the gin piece.
Okay.
He was saying that their gin has rose water in it.
Okay.
And like raspberries and like peaches.
Oh, so it's a little more fruity, citrusy gin rather than like a piney.
Exactly, yeah, because those are the two lanes really when you're talking about gin. And he was really inspired by like his wife wears a perfume that's got roses in it.
Yeah.
And it knocks him off his feet every time they go out. So when they were talking about this gin, they didn't really know what to do to have like a killer gin. And then they're like, well, let's find out where she got this perfume. Let's get some roses, So there was that. Yeah, but that's all I did this week.
Man, caviar and vodka.
It was a pretty wild combo, man. I was actually freaking out. I'm like, dude, this reminds me of the episode of Mad Men where they go lunch really hard and then they walk up the stairs and then by the time the meeting starts, the old man's like vomiting.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that. And I'm like, there's no way. But they did a good job of incorporating like big portions of real food with caviar and oysters.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So yeah, and this was all to celebrate 325 years of distilling in Holland.
Nice. All right.
So yeah, so that's all I went to.
Very cool. Sounds like we had a good week here, I think.
Solid week. I feel good about our week. Yeah.
Should we dive into what's coming up this weekend then?
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into it. Let's see. Wednesday, the 27th?
Wednesday, yeah.
All right, so Wednesday, the Against the Grain beer dinner at Side Door. This is an $85 ticket. They're going to have 5 courses. It's going to close with Bo and Luke.
Okay.
Yeah.
What time does this kick off?
That's going to be a 6 p.m. start.
Okay. So yeah, get there. Bo and Luke. We were talking about this at Side Door. I don't remember if I've had it or not.
Yeah,
so
I believe it's a Imperial Stout aged in Pappy Van Winkle barrels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be there.
We need to be there. We should be there.
We should be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully we'll see everyone there enjoying this beer and food there.
Yeah, they've got a really good setup there.
So that's Wednesday. Anything
Yeah.
Thursday?
I got nothing Thursday.
Okay.
Friday, we start getting into the day before, which is an event at Local Option. It's day before.
Before what?
Before what? Day before Saturday, man.
The day before Saturday. Great event name.
Right? It's the day before Dark Lord Day. It's an annual event over at the Local Option. So Local Option, as you know by now, it's a bar in Lincoln Park. But they're a beer works. They've got like 6 or 7 of their own beers. They'll have a ton of stuff on from Surly, Three Floyds, Pipeworks, Alesmith, Goose Island, and more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. So Dark Lord Day is this weekend then.
This is Dark Lord weekend, man. How you feeling about Dark Lord Day week? This is traditionally, I think this is when festivals begin to ramp up. Like Dark Lord Day happens, and then after this, all bets are
Chicago
off.
Craft Beer Week.
It's a
there.
mess. It's parties every fucking day.
Yeah. I don't have a ticket, so I wasn't keeping up with the happenings of Dark Lord Day.
It's as far as I can tell, the first Dark Lord was in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're talking, like 12 years of Dark Lord. It's expanded from just the brew pub to the entire block.
Right.
Next door to the brewery, they've got this huge distillery, which is like dwarfs the original.
Which isn't open yet, right?
Not open yet. No,
Okay.
it built, but not open
yeah.
yet. Yeah. So Dark Lord Day is this weekend, man.
Will you be there?
I think I might make an appearance at Dark Lord Day. I think I might do that. And then I'm probably going to go over to the other event on Saturday.
Okay, where's that?
Which is up at Fischmans. It's Pale Pauper Day.
Okay.
So you're starting to see, and there used to be like a lot more events than just like 1 or 2, but a lot of folks are like making like Dark Lord Day events that go in the opposite direction of Dark Lord Day.
Because there used to be the day before at Flossmoor Station.
Flossmoor Station. Yeah, I wonder if they're still doing that. I haven't heard anything about that.
They would release a beer. I believe one year it was a Pilsner, Imperial Pilsner, like an Imperial Russian Stout. We're going to do Imperial Pilsner the day before.
Right. So, Dark Lord Day this year is a $200 ticket. If you go to Pale Pauper Day, this is the second annual Pale Pauper Day, and this year it'll be at Fischmans. So it's Slapshot Brewing and Mikerphone Brewing. Okay. And they create a beer. It's funny because last year it was a can, but the can was dipped in wax, kind of how Dark Lord is. Yeah, and they did it at Slapshot last year. This year Fischmans is hosting it, and instead of 2 breweries, there'll be almost like 15 breweries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it still called Mikerphone?
Mikerphone is still called Mikerphone. They just moved out of. They were brewing at Slapshot.
Yeah.
And they moved out of Slapshot.
For some reason, I thought you changed the name to MKH or something. It wasn't Microphone. It was looked like Microphone.
That's news. That's news right there.
I thought I noticed that change.
There's MKE up in Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then there's Microphone. And last year, he was best new brewer in Illinois last year for Rate Beer. Was Microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, folks love his stuff. I've had a few of his beers.
Okay, I don't know if I have.
Yeah. You know who always has them is it's actually a few doors down from Peace on Milwaukee and near North Ave. It's called Liquor Park. It's a liquor store called Liquor Park right there.
Okay, they have it for sale?
They always have his beers. It's a bottle shop.
Oh, it's a bottle shop.
But they always have Mikerphone beers for sale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's a good place to get them.
Near my house. I gotta go check that out. Never been in there.
Yeah, there you go. And then Dark Lord Day and Pale Pauper Day are both Saturday. Dark Lord Day is probably sold out. I think Pale Pauper Day, you may still be able to get tickets. That's a $20 ticket. You get a glass, and then you get access to the tent at Fischmans, and they're going to party down all day. Well, noon to 5, all day-ish.
At Dark Lord Day, you think we're still going to see a lot of people just hanging out? Not getting tickets and just going, drink in the parking lot?
And that's interesting because, I've seen, I missed Dark Lord Day, last year, but the last time I went, there were folks all up and down that little strip that gets you to the frontage road where the brewery is. Yeah. And, there were pickup trucks selling vintages of Dark Lord. There's a municipal park by a hospital where a lot of folks were hanging out. So, yeah, and Dark Lord is a big bottle share. So are you going to still see that aspect of it? I don't know. At $200, they're kind of saying, hey, you can bottle share here, but we need $200 before you can bottle share. And last year it was, $40 bucks.
Right.
In previous years, it was less than that.
But that's to get into the event. You can't stop people from, hanging out in the parking lot.
You can't stop people from hanging out, yeah.
Except for, police roll by and be like, get out of here. But
what are you doing?
Once that starts to happen, I feel like it starts to hurt the whole idea of Dark Lord Day.
Yeah, which, it's a metal show. But then it's also a really big, cool bottle share.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this,
So it's a $200 metal show.
now it's a $200 metal show. I mean, you do get a ton of beer with it, but it's still $200.
Yeah.
Well, a ton. Well, you get four. You get your allotment of 4 beers, not a ton. And then I believe you get a variant, and then you get like a commemorative bag, and then you get like tickets for food.
Uh-huh.
So maybe a little bit less than a ton.
Okay. A good amount. Do you think there's any reason to change it up to have the festival of the metal show on a day and then the bottles are like the next day?
You know, I don't know how it ran. I remember we had Chris on the show for last year's Dark Lord Day.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what he said exactly, but when up to this point, like I'm from 2010 to 2014, I went like every year.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the whole bottle allotment part seems like it could have been smoother. You know, like when we went to like Rare Day, for example. You know, you get to Rare Day, you were done in and out in like, you know, under 2 minutes, you know. And on top of that, at Rare Day,
that wasn't thousands of people.
That wasn't thousands of people. That's true. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being hard on them. But it seems like there's some room for improvement with that whole bottle allocation thing.
Right.
Like, you're waiting forever for beer. You're like, what the fuck? So
Okay.
maybe that'll be different this year.
All right. But I'm sure a lot of people who listen to this will probably be out there hanging out.
It's one of the events you for sure look forward to in spring or in Chicagoland. You know, it's one of the coolest events around.
Yeah.
You know, and so
All right.
that probably that part for sure won't change.
No, definitely not. So those are both Sunday. Anything else on Sunday or anything Monday?
Yeah. One more event on Sunday. So Sunday at the Beer Temple, they're doing kind of a day after Dark Lord Day event.
Okay.
So Beer Temple's actually running. They're partnering with the Brew Crews to run shuttles down there this year.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And the Beer Temple's a bottle shop in Avondale. On Sunday from noon to 5, they're actually doing a 7-year vertical of Dark Lord for free.
Whoa.
At the shop. So that ought to be cool.
For free?
For free. Yeah. And that's I actually dig that part about Beer Temple because every week when they get new beer, they'll say, hey, come and get these new beers that just came in. But then also we're going to have 1 or 2 beers for you to just sample. You know, if you haven't had this beer from, you know, New York, here, try it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, they're kind of sampling stuff out every day up there.
Nice.
So that's cool. 7-year vertical is pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be on Sunday. Yeah. Monday is May 2nd.
May.
Yeah, we're already into May, dude.
So
Q1 is over. Q1
Crap.
2016, just like that, it's over.
Crap.
Atlas is no more. Where else should Atlas Brewing is becoming Burnt City Brewing.
Yeah.
I guess they're changing their name. So they're having an Irish Wake on Monday the 2nd at 5 p.m. So anyone who comes in and makes a purchase, whether it's a flight or a growler or whatever, they get free swag with each purchase.
Okay.
Because they've got all this swag now with their old name.
And that's Monday?
That's Monday at 5 o'clock.
Maybe I'll have to just go over. It's not that far from the office here.
It's right up the street, yeah. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, I saw. Well, we'll talk about it here in the news shortly, but yeah, I saw the cans at Whole Foods the other day. I was like,
Yeah. Oh, the cans are out?
no, not the Burnt City, the Atlas ones.
Atlas
I
cans.
was like, oh yeah, there's no reason to like pull these.
Yeah,
So-
right. Yeah, so that's Monday.
All right, I think I may swing by that on Monday.
It sounds like a good event. Let's see. And then also next week on May 5th, which is the middle of the week, Solemn Oath is doing a beer dinner out at V. V's in the Southwest Burbs.
Yeah.
So Solemn Oath's going to do 5 courses out there on May 5th at 5 o'clock.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so May 5th is, that's a Thursday.
And then coming up next weekend, we should mention, what is it, the Beer Classic?
Yeah, Chicago Beer Classic.
So you can get tickets for that. Where's that at?
That's at Soldier Field.
Okay.
So there'll be 2 sessions for that. One starts at noon, the other starts at 4.
All right.
Yeah, you get a chance to play around on the field.
Like actually play?
I mean, that'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a portion of the field you can be on. If not, that's not cool.
Right. Maybe I should see. I need to get tickets for this. I've said I needed to go to this event or the shoulder field because it used to be called something else too.
Like Soldier Field used to be called something?
No, Soldier Field Beer Fest. It used to be like the Soldier Field Beer Fest.
You're right. It wasn't always the Chicago Beer Classic. It
Yeah.
wasn't always that.
No.
That's a cool name for an event.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it's like a $65 ticket.
That's not too bad.
No, that'll be 2 sessions on Saturday. So that's the first session's 11:30. The second session starts about 4:00.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's everything that's on the calendar, right, for this coming up week then, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, we got a little bit of beer news, right?
A little bit, man. We were at Jake Melnick's.
Yeah.
And they're known for doing these collabs with breweries around town. So they're doing a wheat pale ale collab with Penrose.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's called a Patio Crusher.
We asked them about this, and they kind of...
They were like, oh my God, we don't really know.
We
Why
don't
am
know.
I talking like that? But yeah, that's kind of what they told us. They're like, we don't know.
Yeah. So that's cool, but Penrose. Nice.
Yeah, Patio Crusher. They got a video out. It's like a 60-second video. It's not that great. You know, it doesn't really tell you what the beer is. You don't really see.
I saw Penrose's can video.
Yeah, they got a can video.
That was kind of cool, but
Yeah.
it just showed someone basically watching someone play music and listen to a can. Or drinking a can, listening to someone play music, yeah.
So Jake Melnick's is back at it with Patio Crusher.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we talked briefly about Burnt City.
Right.
Now, this is something we heard about around Thanksgiving, and we didn't really get into it, but it looks like it's a done deal. They've changed their name from Atlas to Burnt City. Apparently, the Atlas Brewing Company shares the name Atlas with like a brewery in Washington D.C.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and there was like some paperwork filed, and
Because technically, Atlas here in Chicago was first.
right. Technically, they were first, but the way I understand it, like the guys in D.C. may have filed their paperwork sooner to like trademark it.
So they filed the paperwork, but didn't open till later. But Atlas opened and then tried to file their paperwork later. So
Yeah,
goes to the paperwork first.
paperwork wins, and and Atlas. At this point, they're about 2 years in. You know, there's a brew pub in Lincoln Park, and then also they got this huge facility which used to be like a potato chip
The latest
factory.
potato chip brewery.
out in out near, I don't know, Pullman or whatever neighborhood that is out there, like, south of downtown. Yeah, and now they got to hit the reset button.
Right.
Burnt City makes sense. Like, hey, we're done. We're tearing it down. There was a huge fire here.
Yeah, I like the name. I love the new can designs. I
Yeah.
think they look even better.
I think they're more appealing than the original can designs for sure.
Right. Especially since Brickstones looks exactly like the Atlas
Yeah.
one. So
That's funny. Yeah, they do. Very similar Brickstone and the old Atlas designs. I didn't think about that till right now. Yeah.
it's really working out for them. Is everyone still staying on board? Is there anyone who's like, you screwed us over, you're out?
Yeah. Right. Who's taking the bullet
Yeah.
for this name change? Because this is like a big thing. Like, like they have this wake on May 2nd, and then all the signage has to come down at the old place. All the cans that they had are gone.
Yeah.
Because you can't just buy like 30 cans. You got to buy like cans by like the thousands.
You're right.
So somebody's got to take the wall for this. I don't know. But we'll see.
All
I
right.
like those guys. I like their beer. Well, this can only be good for them. You would think, right?
Yeah, and I feel like maybe it's kind of almost like a like we said, a reset for them. I feel like it's
Yeah.
also like new cans, and the beer has progressively gotten better. I think there was at times when they first started, they were like figuring things out. So
Yeah.
now, at some point, maybe people are turned off, but now it's the new name with the same good beer that
Yeah.
they had. So
And I was pleasantly surprised. Their barrel program, I think when their first 2 years, they won a LFOBAB with this barrel program. And then you go to the facility in Lincoln Park, well, the tap room or the pub,
yeah,
and they literally have like 4 barrels. And they're like crushing it with like these 4 barrels, these 4, oak barrels. Yeah, and then those guys are cool. That's actually a stop. That was a stop on the brew bus for a long time, back when we were going to Goose Clybourne, because you could scoot over to Atlas really quick from Clybourne. So we were there like every week, and those guys are really cool.
Okay.
So, yeah, hope this works out for them, man. I'm pretty sure it will.
yeah. Interesting story. Issues. That
Yeah,
sucks. But
Atlas. The original Atlas was this current version of Atlas was an ode to the original Atlas brewery, which was around pre-Prohibition. So this was kind of an ode to
in Chicago.
In Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a brewery called Atlas, and this was kind of like an ode to them. Yeah, so I guess they're wiping the slate.
Okay.
Burnt City.
I like it.
Yeah, so that's that. One more bit of news: Goose Island's 28th anniversary is coming up on May 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, so every week until May 13th, they're gonna have some really fun stuff on tap at the Goose Island Tap Room. On the 29th, it'll be the barley wine from 14 and 15. The following Friday, May 6th, they'll do a BCS sale of 2014 and 2015 Bourbon County.
Oh, okay.
And then on May 13th, they'll have a vertical flight, 13, 14, 15, all at the tap room.
Okay. They used to do parties, like an anniversary party. Not doing that this year?
Yeah, that'd be great. I think they would do on the 25th anniversary. Every year they would do a party at Goose Clybourne, right?
Yeah.
An evening party during the week where everybody wore all black, and it was just
Oh, you're supposed to wear black?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't think I did.
And then I know for the 25th anniversary they did a block party.
Yeah.
At Fulton.
So they're probably saving something for the 30th.
Yeah.
Not like they don't need to save the money or anything.
I'd love to see the block party. The block party was one of my favorite events because it landed in Chicago Craft Beer Week this anniversary.
That was like the biggest mess ever.
But that's what made it
that
funny.
Was like
that's what made it fun for me.
That was like the worst. So that will go down worse than Muddy Bug.
Yeah.
Mud Bug.
It will go down in history as a disaster. But aside from that, it was really fun to witness, man. Like, people were going nuts. They had to call extra security when Bourbon County Rare went on.
Yeah, that went on, and then all the guest people ran out of beer in like
and then
an hour.
And everybody ran out of beer. It was chaos.
Yeah,
it was chaos. It was insane. It was great. It wasn't great from a consumer standpoint, but from a fiasco standpoint, oh man, it was it was wild, man. It was a wild scene.
That was ridiculous.
I'm like, yo, they're bringing over more barricades,
Yeah.
Back the fuck up. Like, you were hearing that. It was great. I mean, it was just, just not your average Sunday. That's all.
I remember at that event being in line having off-color beer and someone being like, this is the guy that invented Bourbon County. It's like,
they were saying that about Lafler.
That's what I also remember from that event. So, yeah. So that was a mere 3 years ago.
Yeah, so they're 28 years old. Chicago's oldest craft brewery. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1988.
All right.
Yeah, so that's it for news.
All right, well then that's it for the show. We're out of news, done with the show. Nick, where can people get in touch with you, find you? We're not here.
Right on, man. I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter at BRAD. Chicago Beer Pass is on Twitter at Chicago Beer Pass. Our website, chicagobeerpass.com. All the episodes are posted there. Links to iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. I think we're on the Google Play Store now.
So there we go.
We're all over the place.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then our Facebook page, /Chicago Beer Pass. We're usually sharing events there, photos. Whatever we're up to is probably the best place to find us there. And then we'll be back with another episode then next week. I don't think
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Oh, he threw that at me. I didn't even know.
Oh, yeah. Next week I'm going to Philly for World Beer Cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Important things. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. And then we'll do another one of these. And we'll probably do another on the road at some point. Maybe we'll do one of those once a month or something if we have time.
I like that.
All right. So cheers. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.